Okay, so she says, I went on vacation 2 weeks ago and let my neighbor babysit my pets. Shortly after I got back home, I received this letter from him in the mail that made me smile and cry. I'd like to share it here. Good afternoon, the letter begins. This letter is regarding your vacation 2 weeks ago and how you let me babysit Smokey, Oreo, and Jennifer. I'd just like to give you a letter of thanks. And so the letter doesn't say what Smokey, Oreo, and Jennifer are, but she says that they are a German Shepherd, a Beagle, and a cat named Oreo. So the letter goes on, as you know, I'm an old man. You don't see me outside often anymore, as these joints aren't as lively as they used to be. To add to that, 2 years ago, in the midst of the pandemic, my dad got diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. After his death, I was left alone in my home. I don't have a wife or kids. I could go to sleep one day and never wake up again. Every day is just sitting around and wondering what I have done for this world, until I met Smokey, Oreo, and Jennifer. Your pets are the cutest, funniest, and most troublesome, in a good way, don't worry, they didn't mess up my house too much, individuals. They gave me the motivation to restart my life again. I started waking up early in the mornings. I began to take walks outside with your pets for the first time in years. Every 10 minutes, whenever I felt sad for a second, they would bark or rub against my leg and make me laugh. The highlight of their stay was when I took them to the park. It was the longest time I've spent outside in a while. It didn't just bring back pet interaction. I also met other people, started talking, and made friends with a handful of fellow human beings. I was so happy to finally be able to talk with friends again, interact with others, and feel like I'm part of the human race. I realize I sound very existential right now, but I'm telling the truth. It's nice knowing that I'm doing something for someone, even if it's my neighbor. I adopted 2 dogs soon after. You may have been hearing noise from my home. Pardon them. I now take regular walks to the park with them and talk with friends I made there. Anyways, I'd just like to say thank you so much. You brought back meaning to my life, and that's all that matters. Sincerely, Robert. Now listen to this part. P.S. I think it's time for you to mow the lawn. Ha ha.
That's the ultimate old man joke, and you know he meant it.
Yeah, I know. It's so sweet. And, commenters just went nuts over this, thinking it was the sweetest thing, thinking maybe it was made up, thinking the whole thing was just a way for him to tell her to mow her lawn, thinking that she should mow her lawn and his lawn for the rest of their lives. I think it's so sweet and kind of sad.
Yeah, those commenters are just choosing to see the worst in people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a beautiful letter, and it shows about how important it is for people to feel useful. And the ability for people to feel that way obviously declines as people get older, because the way we treat old people, and we hide them, and we don't venerate them like they do in other cultures. And so, I think it's a great story for Upworthy to share. And so then other people will maybe go, oh, the guy next door, maybe I'll have him do something functional. Just ask him to help something. He probably wants to. As we were talking about on last show about how guys are just walking around, with hammers and screwdrivers in their hand, just waiting to fix something.
Yes.
And
yes.
that's always a great thing. Somebody wants to be useful. So I was thinking, like, they should make, they have like the Geek Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Where you go and get your computer fixed or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Well, they should have in neighborhoods like the senior squad.
Yes.
Where there's
such a good idea. And what do they do?
Well, I was just thinking like you could have, like, let's say you wanted unsolicited parenting advice. They could have like a mother-in-law senior.
Oh boy.
That comes in, maybe tells you that the baby looks cold.
Oh my God. Yeah. He needs socks.
Or no, but you can have like this guy, like the experienced man senior, could be a woman too, it's mostly a dude thing, that sits and watches you while you like put IKEA furniture together and say, oh, no, you're going to want to turn that over first. Or, just comes in and just inspects your house,
If there was like grandmas on call, I would call grandmas on call. Like if your childcare falls through and there were grandmas who just want to play with little kids, I would totally call them.
Yeah, and
this is not a bad idea.
You call them grandma too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my son did to a stranger, which was very uncomfortable. He goes, "Hi, Grandma." she smiled and said hi back. But I was like, oh no, if she hit him right now, I'd get it.
This happened to us. When we were on vacation, when we were walking through the hotel, Owen my 3-year-old saw a woman who had hair similar to my mother-in-law. And he's like, Grandma, Grandma. And I was thinking, this woman looks like someone who might not want to be a grandma yet.
Uh-huh.
And I hope she took that in stride,
Oh, jeez. Yeah, it's like the kid who goes up to the person who maybe could lose a little belly fat and asks like when the baby's due.
Yeah.
Oh. It is kind of sweet. There's a guy who lives across the street that I believe has dementia. He's married, and I've just noticed that he kind of doesn't really talk. Or I asked him a couple questions once, and I kind of got the feeling that he was having some kind of decline. But it's so sweet that every day, his name's Ron, and he's the best, and he has his 2 dogs. He has one big golden retriever and one little like dash. I don't know how to say this word.
Dachshund?
Okay? Yeah. So please.
I say dachshund.
Okay. Wiener dog, and he sits and he walks him around the neighborhood all the time, and that's like every day. You always see him Ron out there walking the dog, and I wave to him, and yeah, it's always really sweet, and I think it's probably very good for him to do, have that activity.
Yeah.
Now, there's one dog walker in the neighborhood I don't like.
Let's hear about it.
There's a woman and her husband that live, and I think she seems to be more into this, but they have huskies, and they have 7 of them. So,
oh, my word. That's a pack.
Yeah, so it's like they're running an Iditarod when I'm taking my dog to go down the street. Now, here's the thing. My dog, Scout, the fat Jack Russell Terrier, he is just like pulling me on the leash, and, we get to the end of the street corner, and he just blows through it, and he is completely not... We didn't even bother with the second dog. Murray was trained, but this guy, Scout, he's not having it. I don't care. I look like a terrible dog owner. And then I see these people on the other side of the street, and the dogs are all just stopping in unison.
Like, are they like is it like Sound of Music, like the Von Trapp children and the captain?
It's been a while since I've seen it.
Oh my God, have you not seen Sound of... Gee whiz! Is not an exclamation I say often. Have you not seen Sound of Music lately? He blows a whistle and like clicks his heels, and they all come running.
And I'm incorrigible.
Children? Yeah. Like that. Yes. That's anyway, like very well-heeled dogs.
But I'm sitting there and I see the dogs, and I get mad because they all stop, and my dog's barking at them, and they're completely silent. And I know that,
oh my God,
that this gal or her husband. Now I think the husband is just kind of doing it because he has to, like it's her thing, But and he, and he's just like, oh my God, these dogs, and then I know I get embarrassed as a dog owner that I'm like a horrible dog owner, and I see these perfect dogs, and I know in the back of her head she's going, oh, that guy with his untrained mutt that's overweight, and I know the whole bit. So yeah, I don't like them.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
How rude of her to rub it in your face like that. She probably does it just to spite you.
Oh, I'm sure she does. She wakes up every morning thinking about me and how she can make me feel insecure.
She probably doesn't even want all 7 dogs. She just has to have them to underline her point.